Hi everyone. So today we're going to be continuing our part 1 of series I started recently. I read Quora Questions, and we're going to be picking up from the last time that we were recording. How can you identify intelligent people? So how do you do that, right? So we went through this particular answer last video, and you can check that out if you want after this one. And this was a more or less a good answer. It was 40% correct, I believe, something like that. And then I ended up with that video being too long, and I thought that let's just create a second part for it. So here we are. Right, so I mentioned in that video that I really liked this answer. I just read the first point of this answer and it really made sense to me. And so let's begin with that, shall we? Okay, so he says they tend to avoid using words like certain and impossible, anything on the extreme side of spectrum of affirmation, because they're full of doubt, and for them almost nothing is certain or impossible, right? So that is very true in my experience with intelligent people, that we tend to not when I say we, I actually do refer to myself, because I also don't prefer using words that are like certain, impossible, like he said, or literally. I don't use those kinds of words very commonly, and whenever we use that, it does have a certain emphasis. So now, why is this? Let me explain this a little bit if you're in doubt. So like he says, intelligent people are mostly in doubt about situations, right? So let's take a situation where, let's take an example that you tell your friend that you're going to learn how to backflip from your bed down to the floor, and you're gonna land straight, not on your head. So you tell your friend that, and your friend reacts to it. That is impossible. And that's when you would react with, inside your head you would think, I don't think anything is impossible or certain, or these extreme terms, they should not be thrown around like that, right? So that is the case where the person won't believe it's impossible, but the other person would say it is impossible. So in that sort of situation, you are in doubt, as he says, and you're in doubt because you think you can do it, right? That is the core thing about intellectuals. So intellectuals think that if there is anything related to brainstorming, problem solving, they think they can do it, because they don't think it's impossible to do something, and they don't think something is for certain, and they like to prove things wrong. They like to be right, inherently, we're saying. And like he says, and for them almost nothing is certain or impossible. So that actually clears it out, right? And yeah, that's going to be point 1, and we're going to be moving on to point 2. It says they enjoy being wrong as much as they despise it. Smart people hate it when they realize that they got something wrong, because they want to know the truth. But the same realization excites them as it means they're going to learn something new, because again, they want to know the truth. Well, this is a very thoughtful point here, because number one, it is true that intellectuals inherently don't like to be wrong. They don't like to be wrong. And two, they like to learn new things. Those are two key points from this, right? And yeah, it is true. It really does emphasize the fact that they enjoy being wrong as much as they despise it. I certainly agree with that. Next point we have is saying they're usually very quiet. Intelligent people are not fond of useless or small talks. Let's pause there a little bit and think about this. I would say this is right. Why? Because yes, intelligent individuals are actually very quiet most of the time. And why that is that they don't like small talks, right? They don't like to uselessly blabber about things. They like to ponder in silence. It does make sense. And in general, they spend more time listening and less time speaking. Very true. This is also, we can throw this into the same category that intelligent people like to ponder a lot, and they like to brainstorm a lot whenever they're alone or not, right? When they're alone or not, they like to ponder over things a lot. Yeah, this is true, because when you think of yourself as an intelligent person, think of you having a conversation with someone and someone is telling you about a topic where an average person would actively participate and they would contribute in the other person's sort of blabbering or whatever it is, but you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you? Because what you're listening, first of all, there's a difference between hearing and listening. I'm sure some of you might know that. Hearing means just physically sensing the sound, and listening means actually interpreting that sound and making something of it. So when you're listening to someone making points, you're trying to analyze those points, and when you're analyzing points, you take time. And by that, I don't mean intelligent people are slow. They like to analyze and take their time because they like to come to useful extracts, useful gists of conversations. And so, yeah, they do less speaking as a result. So then he says, because the less you talk, the more you learn. Thus, what's the point of speaking your mind if only a few will understand you and the rest will mock you? That is very true, right? It is sort of a insecure point, though. I would say that speaking your mind just means that others will mock you, and so why even speak? That is a sort of self-underestimating point or thought, which you shouldn't have, Speak your mind whenever you want. Speak your mind whenever you think is right. That was the third point. And now we're going to be moving to the fourth point. And it says, they see patterns everywhere. In human behavior, random events, in nature, you name it. In the mind of an intelligent person, everything comes down to a mathematical formula. If well understood, almost anything can be predicted. A dream come true for anyone with a sharp mind. Right, so he says, if well understood, almost anything can be predicted. I don't agree with that. I don't. Because actually, I just predominantly don't like this sort of quotes I don't like these because, he's saying if well understood, anything can be predicted. And almost anything can be predicted, he says. And yeah, let's take the most random of examples. Let's take stocks. Like, however much you learn about stocks, however much you learn different patterns of stocks and study libraries worth of material from the past of the top companies and the present and what has changed in them. No matter how much information you can take in, there's always chaos in the future. Nothing stays in order. So yeah, that is why I don't think future can be predicted if well understood, about the subject. But yeah, his main point though is that they see patterns everywhere. Intelligent people see patterns everywhere. This is true. This is true because they like to correlate new things with other things that they have interpreted in the past and they have recently learned and they have yet to learn. Right? They can correlate very well, which requires a sense of pattern recognition. They can, in random event, like he said, in nature, you name it, intelligent people see patterns everywhere. And yeah, that's gonna be our point fourth, and we have 3 more points to go. They don't take insults very seriously. Okay, so this is a bit of a long point, so I'm going to stop there and sort of break that down. Yeah, so basically what he's saying is they don't take insults very seriously, they don't react to insults very much, and is that an intelligent thing to do? Maybe sometimes, but there is always a limit to how much someone can insult you. But is this true though, is the question. In my experience, I feel like this could vary between personalities. For example, my personality is the kind who ignores more often than other people, and there are other people that I know don't ignore things very easily. So there's that thing. So I would not completely agree with this point. It's a 50-50. Yeah, so after that he says, insults are the last resort for someone losing an argument. True. A clever person recognizes this and takes the insult as a testament of winning the debate. Fair, I guess. Also, if a smart person is called stupid or crazy, for example, they just examine this accusation very objectively and do some inspection of their behavior. If they concluded that the statement held true, they would thank the other person and take it very professionally. I believe whatever he just said after this is like here to here is just his personal experience. I think that is a technique that he applies to his life. That he must confirm. Yes, that is a he. So it says that what he's implying with this line here is that he's not directly implying it, but what I can gather from that is that he likes to win debates, right? And intelligent people do like to inherently win debates until they become mature, and that is a different stage, and that's where intelligent people's characteristics start to scatter and they don't make sense anymore. that's where chaos occurs when they start to grow up, because that's where people become more generalized with the rest of the population, and the population becomes less diverse and more average in a sense. So after that he says, if a smart person is called stupid, right? This is a very long and specific interpretation or behavior pattern that he has put down here, which I neither agree nor disagree with. I mean, I cannot, right? It is his own point of view, so I cannot say anything to that. Otherwise, they would just smile and go on with their life. That's what he does, right? Fair enough. Right, now we are headed to 6th point. They're easily bored, especially in social gatherings and formal events, unless the subject under discussion is interesting. Smart people will leave the place in their minds if physically was not an option. I don't think intelligent people are easily bored unless there is physical stimulus that is preventing them from getting into their comfort zone, which is actually just brainstorming with their self. And that is when they become bored, when that is not an option, especially in social gatherings. That is definitely a barrier, like I said, to own time, being self-involved. You cannot be self-involved in social gatherings and formal events. So yeah, unless the subject under discussion is interesting, smart people will leave the place in their minds, if not physically. Right. So that is pretty straightforward. That is completely factual. Right. Okay. Now we got the 6th point here. Says they are very keen and they can't hide it. True. When intelligent individuals become excited, you can see it on their faces. You can see it from their behavior. Excitement, enthusiasm, and boldness are difficult to conceal when it comes to the smart. True. It's what they live for, to experience things, to go beyond what's normal and boring. Intelligent people are addicted to the new and the big, and no one can cover their addiction. Just look at Elon Musk's reaction to the latest Falcon Heavy launch a few days ago. He couldn't help but go, holy, I cannot say that thing took off. Now, this is a very interesting example right here. Elon Musk. You might know Elon Musk actually lies on the autism spectrum. He's autistic, and autistic people are actually easier to read than normal intellectuals, because by normal I mean not disordered intellectuals. And why is that? Because autism disables people from learning how to function like normal people, and I mean that is inherently autistic kids obviously can get treated and can improve over time, but my point is that they are not very good at social skills, and in that comes the fact that there are social norms that you have to follow, and one of those is do not show too much enthusiasm into something, right? And as you can see, Elon Musk actually gets very excited at things of his interest. You can even see it in his interviews. Whenever he's speaking, his mind goes faster than his mouth. and that's why his ability to speak is a bit choppy. So guys, this is the end of the answer, and these were the 6 points, actually 7 apparently. Okay, so I misread that. But anyways, that aside, leave your feedback down in the comments, like if you like this video, subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content. This is my second episode of the IRQQ series, I Read Quora Questions, and I am looking forward to be doing more of these. You can leave suggestions down below, like I said, and yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.